Right, books. So you can't set up a bakery business and build it, start it, run it, carry on with it in complete isolation from what has gone before you. So I've been really influenced by various books or businesses that have written books or people have written books and what they've done and how they've gone about things. And I just wanted to go through five. I maybe shouldn't put these things in top fives. I'm not massively keen on kind of ranking stuff. Maybe I don't know. Anyway, these are just kind of five cool books that have made a difference to how this business has grown and been and what it is today. So, and I love them all. The first one, number 5, Mr. Hermé's Macaron book. So I bought this pre-MasterChef, I think, and the best thing about this book is that in May, following our series being broadcast, so this is 2010, they were filming the professional series that followed us, so MasterChef The Professionals. And Claire, who was the producer on our series, was producing, I think she was the series producer on the professional series. And she invited me down to watch them film one of the Tasks of the Finalists in that year, 2010, which I think was won by Claire, also Claire. And I can't remember her surname. Anyway, and they were doing a challenge with Pierre Hermé. So I got to see him make macarons really close up, like this far away. And he set the chefs 3 desserts to make. And it was incredible. It was such a treat to be able to kind of be that up and close with even at that point. And so the best thing is he signed my book. And so to Tim, it's very nice. I shall cut in a picture of me and Pierre having a nice time at this point, which someone took of us. I bought this. This is all in French, so this was before the English version came out, and obviously I run a macaron business, and Pierre inadvertently gave me some quite helpful advice on the day I met him, which maybe he wouldn't have done had he known that was going to do what we did, but it was very helpful and very kind and very interested in what I was doing, and also commented on how tatty the book was and how well used it was. I love this book because it kind of just what he did was take this kind of classic French bit of patisserie that had been going for hundreds of years and reinvented it, and he is pretty much responsible for the whole kind of macaron movement, for a better description, and kind of making more interesting flavours and textures within it. And I was hugely influenced by this. Our initial recipe for macaron shells came from a version of this. It's kind of grown and developed over the years because it's the way we bake them, and particularly the colourings we use. We have to kind of make them in a slightly different way. So Pierre Hermé macaron book, and buy in French and make it more difficult to read. You can get it in English, but make it more difficult. You'll feel like you've kind of achieved more. But for meeting him and both the core recipes, but what he did, he led the way. So Mr. Macaron, Pierre Hermé's macaron book. That's number 1. Not in order. So I'm not saying he's number 5 of the list. He's just one of 5 number ones. Next one, there's a couple of these. This is Francisco, I think it's pronounced it, Migoya, and who has done lots of... He's an amazing person to follow on social media. If you follow his stuff on Instagram, the cakes he makes are just... They are the pinnacle of Instagrammable, perfect looking bits of patisserie. It must take weeks to get these things right and photographed and all the rest of it. I don't know what his story is. He must have run his own stuff, but he was also part of that team that wrote those massive volumes of books. I've forgotten what they're called now. I'll put a link in below. I think he's now part of the Noma lot. So I think I've seen him posting stuff recently in Japan, where Noma are working at the moment. This book is... What's amazing about it is it sort of its starting point is kind of familiar recipes like muffins and cakes and cheesecakes and larger cakes and bits of laminated doughs and stuff, and then just makes them really interesting, both in kind of the flavours but also the technique. So it's kind of kind of classic patisserie technique, but then really sort of much more sort of advanced, clever stuff. There's two. He's got the Modern Cafe and another one called Elements of Dessert, and it's just a kind of another. For me, obviously, I love all that kind of technical, sciencey stuff in baking and the positive impact it can have on your business. And he does. He's just an exemplar, perfect example of just how far you can take things. So the detail, I love the detail in this book, the accuracy of it. And we've taken little components for cakes out of this book over the years and the other stuff that he's written. But so anything by Francesco, I can't say his name, Migoya, that one, it's great. Okay, I think he's American, I don't know. I'm much more influenced by American. It's funny, you sort of think of French patisserie as kind of the peak point of all things cake. I'm not sure that it is anymore. I think they started things off, but I think the world has caught up and in some places overtaken what France does in terms of cakes. I'll say that very quietly. Anyway, Tartine. So Chad Robertson is the bloke one of the people that sort of was part of that whole sourdough movement in the west coast of America, so San Francisco, and the Tartine bakery, so Liz Prueitt and Chad Robertson. The sourdough bread book is fantastic, and I use that at home, but obviously we don't make that in the business. But again, this kind of takes both sort of classic American and European cakes and just sort of magnifies them, just kind of gets the makes them that little bit more kind of interesting, and the detail. It's one of these books you flick through and the recipes, and you think, because I look at books in different ways. I look at things I would bake at home or I'd cook at home, which is in one part, and then I also think about things that customers would buy. If you look through this book, it's just full of stuff that people, I think, would want to buy and do buy. And again, we've used elements of things from this book over the years. It's a real focus on deliciousness. And there is an amazing recipe in here. I'm not sure we should show kind of our recipes so I'm sort of avoiding doing that. But the devil's food cake recipe in this book is a bit of a faff, but it's absolutely. I don't think there's a better chocolate kind of cake out there. So and this is the revised version. So the Tartine book is phenomenal. Fourth one. So I'm always worried about sort of name dropping and stuff, but we did. So this is the Alain Ducasse book. He's got one on savoury stuff, and this is his desserts and pastries. And I'm pretty sure I bought this as I was coming home from cooking at the Dorchester with Alex and Juve in the final when we did the chef's table thing, when there was Alain Ducasse and Jocelyn Herlan was the head chef, and we cooked for Ducasse and these crazy rock star superstar chefs, and sort of slightly blew our mind where you suddenly walk into that room and you see there's people sat there. But anyway, and I think I wasn't really upset, but Alex got to do the desserts there, and I sort of made a half-hearted attempt to ask them whether I could do them, but I think I'd done too much pudding-based stuff at that point, so I did the main course, which was a bit weird, that main course, but I meant to have liked it, so I did. I don't think I did. Anyway, this is his dessert. So this is much more classic French stuff, and there's so much content in this. There's so many recipes, so many components, so many bits of stuff in it. It's just every page, every 2 pages is a complete recipe, and it's I just remember buying it and it arriving sort of a couple of days after Woodfield. I'm certainly remember reading this before we did the final, it's exactly where French kind of pastries and desserts were in kind of the early noughties, maybe kind of late 90s. I think this book would look slightly kind of I'm sure his restaurants now have slightly more kind of a different vibe now. This just for the content and for the real kind of classic French stuff. the Alain Ducasse Grand Livre de Cuisine, desserts and pastries. I don't know whether you can get it anymore. It might be out of stock, but out of print. But yeah, that is amazing, just for the amount of stuff in it. And then last, and I'm sure I'm not the only one to be influenced by this book, this is the Milk Bar cookbook. I blooming love this book. This, I think probably this has had more influence on what we've done. You can tell by the sticky pages of this book. We have used stuff out of this thing. I've cooked so much stuff from at home out from it, and there's loads of little bits and pieces that we've used. We try not to. We do not just cook someone else's stuff and stick it on the counter, because that's just boring and not right. But we do take. I think we need. I see myself as like a magpie that you pick up the best recipe for a patisserie or a meringue or a chocolate ganache or a mirror glaze or a whatever. And this book probably provided more little kind of magpie nuggets than any other. And the I think the whole kind of Christina, Tosi, David Chang story is great. I know everyone knows about David Chang, but Christina Tosi worked for him and for, I think before that, sort of Wiley Dufresne. And just the story of it, just the way that she took real kind of classic American baking, real sort of home baking stuff, and made it so blooming delicious that, if French patisserie is all about technique, and I'm not saying that stuff's not delicious, of course it is, but that French patisserie is very much kind of technique is the starting point. This is flavour starting point. This is every single thing in this book is absolutely delicious. And particularly the stuff in here about the use of things like milk powder, brown butter and salt in cakes. People get weirded out by salt in cakes, but I think it's absolutely almost of an equivalent importance as sugar sometimes. But this is just the perfect example of that. And our stuff, not so much in the macarons, although a little bit, the other cakes that we make have been so influenced by this book, and I'm very grateful for owning it. And if you've got anybody that you know who loves baking, this will open people's third eye into the world of caking and baking and all the rest of it. So yeah, Milk Bar. I also go there. I have the cereal. I went to New York with the family, and the cereal milk ice cream. It's delicious. Get it. Anyway. So 5 favourite books. What are your favourite baking books? What's made a difference? What don't I know about? What should I buy next? Thank you for watching, and we'll just carry on sharing as much information about this bakery and what we've learned, and letting everybody else know in case it's helpful in lots of other things to come. All right, love you. Bye.